Again, my name is Aakash Mehta, and today we're discussing plugging gaps in Microsoft Teams. Now, many of you might know who Votiro is and what we do, but just to give you a quick briefer, Votiro is a zero trust content security company. We help organizations stop malicious threats from entering their organizations in a proactive and automated fashion, no matter where those file-borne threats are coming in from. So if you think about how threats are coming into the organization, there are many, many different ways. And if we think about file-borne threats, you can think of all the applications that you're using today that ingest files. Now, ingestion is one thing, but there's also the collaboration portion, files traveling east and west. So east-west traffic, and of course, on the DLP side, external facing files. So if you take a look at this little pie chart or this pinwheel, you'll see that all the applications are examples of applications of where files are coming in or being processed. And Votiro can sync and link into any one of these applications, either natively or through our API. And so we can ingest the file, make sure it's clean, sanitized, free of any malware, and then delivered to the end destination, whether that be a storage location, a data lake, or someone's inbox or Teams Messenger. Now, today we'll focus on the east-west traffic. What we want to do is prevent insider threat. We want to prevent any sort of risk that is going from east-west through collaboration tools. Today we'll focus on Microsoft Teams. Again, any questions, please let me know. But if you take a look at what's going on with Microsoft Teams, it's pretty open in nature. The reason for that is we want to make sure that we're moving at the speed of business, collaborating at the speed of business. And so the ability to share files and data through collaboration tools such as Teams makes it much easier for employees to do their daily tasks. So if you take a look at what's going on with Microsoft Teams in specific, it's about 280 million people using Microsoft Teams. Now you could use it you could use it internally, and some organizations allow your Microsoft Teams to be connected externally. So other users in other organizations can send you messages through Microsoft Teams. This, of course, poses a security gap, but also internally, if you're not connected to the outside world, there also are security gaps because of remote workforces, people using personal laptops, BYOD atmospheres, and of course hybrid as well. So if we take a look at 41% of full-time employees in today's world working as a hybrid model, they might be using their own devices. They might be using their iPads or iPhones, Android devices, etc. And so files are coming from all over the place yet again, but passed through a mechanism such as a collaboration tool as Teams. So today we're going to hop into how we can make sure that the files being shared through Teams is safe and ready to use in real time without providing any sort of friction on that speed of business that we want our employees to work on. Just to give you a little bit of a briefer on how this is connected and how it works. We have Teams users across the world, internally of your organization, but also externally as well. And what they're doing is uploading files to the Microsoft Teams platform and then expecting that file to be sent over to their counterpart or the other employee on the other side. In between this happening, Votiro sits on the back end and makes sure that that file on the upload is clean and ready to use. And now, of course, I'll let Michael touch on this in detail, but we just wanted to give you a brief high-level diagram of what this looks like. Someone's leveraging Teams, sending a message, they upload a file, it gets sent over to the end user. And while this all happens, Votiro's in the back end, cleansing the file and making sure it's safe on the receiving end. So with that being said, and that as a preface, I'll go ahead and let Michael jump into some details in the demo. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Aakash. And let me just take over and share my screen. So just to give you a glimpse on the Votiro dashboard, But before we're going into some details, I'd like to show you from an admin perspective how easy it is to just integrate with Microsoft Teams. So for that, let me just jump into our Cloud Connectors page. And immediately you can see that we have our Microsoft Teams connector available here. And the only thing that we need to do is we just need to enter the Azure or Entra ID. And that, as soon as we provide that information, we can easily connect with our Azure infrastructure and basically fetch all the groups that we'd like to monitor as part of the Teams integration. And I want to show you also for that purpose, the Microsoft Admin Center for Teams. Here under the Teams apps, manage apps, we can see that we have the Votiro app that's of course already pre-installed, and that was a requirement for the integration to happen. So that's just to give you a brief on how the deployment can take place and how easy it is to integrate. And for that, of course, for the demo lab, I already integrated this environment with our Azure account. So I would jump into the Teams group chat, and we will first fire up a message. But I'd like to show you for the demo purpose what we've prepared for you today. And for that, what we've done is we created that resume, and that resume includes some different parts. You will see one of them is a hidden object that we embedded directly into the resume. And also we have some contact information there, including social security number and other information. And of course, before we'll moving that file through Votiro, let me just show you what happened if I'm a user who's not protected with Votiro. If I'll double click that .zip file, you can see that it holds a shortcut link, and that file can call another process or can execute a process on my machine. And as you see at the top right, I have my Process Explorer opened, and it is already filtered to monitor PowerShell processes. And if I'll try right now to just execute the .lnk file, what it will do, it will just call a calculator process on my machine. And of course, as you can see at the top, we have the PowerShell process that started that calculator process on my machine. So let's just jump ahead into the Teams console, into the Teams chat, and I would show you what would happen if we will move that file through Teams and see what would happen also for the private information at the bottom left of this document. So let me just close it here right now. We don't need to save it. We can just jump back real quick into Teams. And for that, let me just do that. And we can just start a post. So let's say I'm a recruiter and I'm sending that message to the hiring manager. Here is the CV you requested. And we can just click and upload a file from my own repository. This is Remy Martin resume for the sake of the demo. I will just highlight that. We will use the open button in order to upload the file. We can see that in real time, the bar is loading and it's filling up. That means that the file is uploading, of course, and it's ready to use. While I'm posting the file, the sanitization already happens in the background. So that means that the hiring recruiter or the hiring manager, I mean, at this point, of course, can consume a safe and ready to use file. And how can we tell that? We can just jump back into Votiro's console and show you what happened in real time. So for that, I will just jump into the events page, and you can see we have the resume that we just shared in between. It took just 0.8 seconds to process the entire file. And let's see what we managed to find here. And the sidebar that you're seeing here provides you just a brief information on the exact details of this file. But let me just show you a bit more. While I'm clicking View Full Details, I'd like to show you that we've managed to identify some private information, and also we've detected that script that was hidden deep within the Word document. And how can we tell that? you can see under the files hierarchy that we have many dependencies within that Word document. And if I'm scrolling down within the doc, we can see we have that embedded object. We have that .bin file that holds the zip, and inside the zip, we have the shortcut link that hold that file that we use for the demo. And of course, we removed and blocked that. And let me just show you, again, from an end user perspective, how the sanitized file, how the clean file looks like. Of course, we're seeing that the file was also processed using the Microsoft Teams policy, which means we can tailor that policy to fit the Microsoft Teams, while we can build many different policies for different purposes. If I'd like just now, as an admin who has the rights to do that, I'd like to download the sanitized version of the file. So I will just use that function here, and I will download the sanitized version of the file. Just let it download for a moment. And I want to open the sanitized copy. Just give it a moment to finish the download. All right. So now, once the download is finished, let me just open the Word file again. And as you can tell, right now, this is the sanitized version of the file. First of all, the bottom left, the contact information. Okay, we're now seeing we have Albuquerque, New Mexico as a detail here, but all of the information, including the social security number, was masked, and we're no longer able to see it. So while the recruiter, the HR department could see that information, maybe if they need to go back and do some background check on Remy Martin, they can do it. But obviously, the hiring manager for the senior product manager position don't need to have that permission to see that information. So obviously, that information was masked. Along that, if I will try to download, or more precisely, to open that archive file within the zip, I will no longer be able to do so, because that particular object, and just that particular object, did not follow the policy that was used in that case, and therefore the one who actually interact with that file is fully protected from any potential threat. So let's try to just open right now that object, and I can show you that that's the information that I'm seeing, that the Acme's security controls have blocked that file because it contained some suspicious elements that did not follow the policy that was used in that case. So that's about it. That's how easy and seamless that process is, also from an end user, but also I showed you some capabilities today from an admin perspective. So we're happy right now to have any questions that may come up and address them.
Yeah, that was a really great demo, Michael. And you got to highlight actually two portions of what we're doing. Votiro is a double-bladed sword, right? So one, we're cleansing the file, making sure it's safe from any threats, any malicious threats, known or unknown, stopping 0 days ransomware, etc. And then we're also able to stop any sort of data exfiltration, or preventing any sort of security or sensitive information being released to people who don't need to receive that information. So it's a really great demo, Michael.